Hello. Welcome back to another episode of CEDH Bling Builds. Today is a very special episode. We're going to do a couple of things in this video. One, we're going to showcase my collection, I guess. And two, I'll walk you through my deck building process. And three, we'll build this deck. We'll build it together. So, as you can see, I have my entire collection is universally sleeved, right? And separated. Instant sorceries, creatures, what the hell? Instant sorceries, creatures, planeswalkers, lands, artifacts, and enchantments. And so what that means is I can afford to have like a single copy of a card. I don't need to have a million copies of Grand Abolisher for all my white combo decks. I just need the one shiny version. When I bring a deck to play over a weekend, I'll usually have like the one deck constructed where I'm like testing it out. And so I'm gonna run the deck whether I win or lose, or if I'm having weak games or strong games, just to really fine tune the deck. There'll be like a little couple of like sideboard slots, right? Or I'll swap them in and out throughout the evening, throughout the day. And then maybe in the other half of like my twin flip and tray, I'll have pieces for like another deck. So you'll have your 100 card main deck, and then 2 or 3 generals that share a similar enough card pool. Well, they just where those pieces just fit in the other half of my deck box. Anyway, today we're gonna run because Stranger Things season 4 is wrapping up. We're gonna run Will the Wise and Lucas the Sharpshooter. Neither one of these guys are particularly good. I guess Lucas could be a win con in a deck with Cloudstone loops, and Will, I don't know. I guess he could get value because he's just so cheaply costed. But we're gonna run these two because they're teeny tiny creatures, which means that we can get away with running a Lurrus of the Dream Den as a companion. So we're going to run a Sands Green. Today we're going to build a Sands Green Turbo Naws farm list. None of these cards are really that good, especially since the old companion rule no longer exists. But that's what we're going to do today. So there's going to be a lot of cuts and pauses for brevity. I don't edit videos clearly, so let's get into it. So this deck means that all the permanents have to be under 2 CMC or less, right? They have to be 2 CMC or less, which makes this pretty simple and straightforward deck to build. We're in Sands Green, so we don't have to worry about green lands, so I like to start things off with my mana base, and it's typically like a 28 card mana base in a CDH deck. I know recently people have been cutting down to 27, 26. Sometimes it goes up to like 30, 32, but for CDH, it's typically like a nice, juicy 28 lands because the average CMC of the deck is pretty low. There are a ton of mana rocks or dorks and rituals, depending on how you build the deck, or depending on what strategies you're going for in that particular build. So we are in black, so it makes it very simple to not include duplicate lands, right? So I'm not going to have 2 islands in the deck because I'm in black. There's going to be a Tainted Pact in the deck. By the way, if you find yourself in a match and your opponent is trying to win through a Thassa's Oracle Tainted Pact, have them play it out. I've been noticing a lot more scrubs do not build their deck to accommodate a Tainted Pact, and so they could probably whiff on their combo. So specifically for a Thoracle Tainted Pact against like a not so amazing opponent, make sure they play it out. So we're gonna have the Atawada, and we're gonna have these rainbow lands. This isn't an artifact deck, so these type of lands I'm not gonna include. We are gonna have all 10 fetches. We go for all our duels and shocks, but not the other duels. I'm not too sure about Spire, so I'll put it on the side. These are all of the, oh no, this half of the lands I own. Maybe it's 4-color decks. Maybe we could put, no, there's no space for swamp. So that's all I'm doing. These thematic type of lands, like the have synergies of artifacts. I don't need it, and I don't need the other types of duels. Okay, this is Scrubland. Scrubland in Savannah, I have trouble seeing. I don't know yet if this is like a color-intensive deck, so I'll put that on the side. This is fine utility. We'll put it here. We'll put that there. Maybe the one island is fine. White is probably the weakest color in the deck. This is utility for like a uncounterable peer into the abyss or a Ad Nauseam. Sorry about this goofy camera angle. These artifact lands, again, I'm not an artifact deck. I usually like to tech an artifact land in an artifact deck as fodder for like a transmute artifact or reshape. I gotta bling that out eventually. I'm not sure, even though we have teeny tiny permanents, I'm not sure if there's any 1 CMC or less artifact I need. I don't even know how I'm going to build this deck. I just know that's going to be a Sands green Turbo Naws deck. I think that's that. This is a really, really good card. This is another reason why I say if you run a deck with multiple the same basics, for instance, when I run like a mono blue deck, I might as well make them snow because you have like a little utility here and there that really, really helps out. For instance, Mouth of Runam. For 4 in a snow, you could punch potentially a Hate Bear so hard in the mouth that it allows you to combo off at that point. I don't need any of this. Okay. So I'm going to pause here for a second, put together the lands package. We know that we're going to have 10 fetches. We know that we're going to have all the corresponding duels. I don't know how I'm going to fit the shocks. And then I have to make space for the utility and the rainbow lands. So let's pause for just a minute. All right, so what we wound up with are 10 fetches, the 6 duels, only 4 shocks, right? I left out a godless and a sacred, since white is pretty much I imagine the weakest color in the deck. It's probably not because if I'm running like a farm, like it's pretty much like a Mardu farm deck. Then like Asper Sentinel, Sarah's Ascendant, Ranger Captain of the Oaths are all really strong cards in the deck. So this might need to go back in. No basic island, no Boseiju, old Boseiju, or this is tech. No. This got cut because I need to actually get in, and I don't think this helps me all the time. Especially if my weenie needs especially if my wiener needs to get in. No, especially if my something like one of my small creatures needs to get in just for some value. Not that good. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm actually absolutely wrong. Because I'm going to actually take out the Ancient Tomb for this. I'm not a Tymna deck. Because Tymna is a 3 CMC. So everything here is particularly small. So I'm imagining the creatures that I do swing with have like some sort of evasion. That should be fine. Okay. So that's 28 lands. We have these rainbows, Command Tower, Exotic, Forbidden, Mana Confluence, City of Brass. Make sure you pick these up now that they've been reprinted in the Double Masters. And then, of course, the Phyrexian Tower. Sack my own creatures, which I'm going to have plenty of, to maybe help accelerate an Ad Nauseam or Appearance of the Abyss. Okay, let's move on now to our artifact package. That's usually the order in how I build these decks. So we got our artifacts. This should be very quickly. I could probably even do this on camera. We have our simple rocks. I'm in Ad Nauseam, and I'm in blue. I'm in Underworld Breach, and I'm in blue, so I have my Brain Freeze. Does that mean that I need a grinding station? Probably not. So we don't need the grinding station, and ergo we don't necessarily need like a Grim Monolith. We're in 4 colors. Very simple. I could probably not include these. I'll put this here for a second. I don't believe I need the Grim Monolith in this deck. I've been running the Wishclaw Talisman less and less. I don't know how the companion rules work with Jewel Lotus, but probably it doesn't work. And everything is pretty low CMC. I'm contemplating actually selling the Signets. I think since the release of Arcane Signet, these get pushed out of your lineup. Yeah, we're not in Cloudstone because the CMC is too high. We'll probably get to this. No skip one? Yeah, I skipped this one. Yeah, see, I don't think I need all of that. I don't think we need a top in this deck. I don't think we're in ISO Rev. Put the grinding station on the side for just a second. Alright, so I'm going to pause here and lay it all out. Okay, so I went with the standard rock lineup with the addition of LED, since we're in Underworld Breach. I am going to include this because I could get some goofy mill value. Now, you have to remember that I'm in these colors, but because of my restriction of not running thick uh, CMCs, I can't do like a dual caster as a secondary win con. So really, this is just a 4-color Thoracle deck, and I'm not a fan of that. So I might have to do some mill strategies, but I'm not going to include like an IsoRev engine because I don't have like, Will and Lucas aren't like outlets for any of that. I am going to include the Wish Claw, and maybe we could get some value with casting Lucas early and have him just ping and goad things. Just keep those creatures off my back. So we're going to include the Mox Amber, but I'm going to cut these two rocks. So we'll move on now to the artifacts package. The enchantment package, which should be very, very simple because of the low CMC. So we'll do that right now. So Ristic Study is clearly out of this deck. Clearly, right? And a Necropotence is out. Maybe a Deafening Silence, but I don't have enough to get any value from rule of law effects. So, right, the other rule of law and the blue rule of law are 3 CMC, and the rule of law hate bears are pretty high too. Let's see if we get value from something like Waste Nut. That's pretty sneaky, right? I could do a wheels strategy and get some Waste Nut value. Maybe start pushing with 2/2 zombies. So we'll see. We'll see. No power artifact. No training grounds. We're out of time. No green. No conundrum. This is tech. No green. Maybe dress down. I never had the opportunity to get value out of a dress down, but we'll see. I could do some graveyard shenanigans with like a relic order. And there is an outlet, so I could keep something like this in my back pocket. This is like a maybe. So these are all maybes, because I still don't know what strategy I'm going with in this deck. The Thoracle alone isn't enough to win. If something happens to my Thoracle, then I have to do like some sort of beatdown strategy. But I'm like running weenies, so and I'm in red, but I don't have access to a dual caster mage. So these enchantments we'll put on the side for now until we look at our creature lineup and get a better idea of what strategy we'll go with. And so this is half of our, a third of our creatures. We definitely want that. We definitely want that, and that, and that, and that. Keep it coming. Too big. Just right. Way too big. Yeah, so no dual caster in this deck. No tutoring. Oh, the new dockside art is fucking hideous. That borderless dockside, it's the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. So I don't know when it comes to upgrading this what I'm gonna do. And maybe I'll just stick with the regular old dockside, because there's no way I'm gonna get fucking Ebenezer Scrooge dockside. And the etch looks like a monkey. It doesn't even look like a goblin. So I don't know how I feel about upgrading dockside. Sure. Not in green. Maybe, right? If it doesn't work in this deck, then this goes into the trade binder. Simple as that. This is just a pinger if I decide to go with the Relic Water route. This could be some weird tech if I decide to do wheels strategy, so we'll just keep it here on the side for now. I'm not always going to have the opportunity to get in beats where I would in a Tymna deck where this would go in, a Tymna Rograth. We'll put it on the side for now. Menace is neat. I don't have Tymna once again, so I don't get value from beats. I like Neonate in a deck with World Warger. I don't want that shit in my hand. But I also don't want Relic Water in my hand either. But Relic Water in your hand isn't as bad. You could just play it more slowly, right? You could just cast it to get rid of whatever temporarily until it does die. And then you just do your Animate Dead bullshit. We'll keep this here for just a second. It's a nice sack outlet if I decide to go with a Relic Water. Sorry, no, that doesn't make sense. Oh, I went into Creatures package, but I should have gone into my Planeswalkers. Now, most of the time, Planeswalkers don't really make the cut. But I don't have any, weedy, teeny tiny Planeswalkers anyway, so none of them go in this deck. Alright, let's keep going with our creatures. Let me go a little bit faster. That in green. This is my paper Tymna. This is my paper Tymna. So sometimes I don't like to have, there's no need to have more than one copies of cards. So Tymna, who is sometimes in the 99, will be represented with a paper. I only have the one copy of Tymna. I'm not putting in beats, but let's see how this goes. I don't think this deck easily makes infinite mana, but we'll put it there. These are just things for now. Yeah, none of this. No. Not really feeling any of these creatures, to be honest. How does this work? Does this? No, that doesn't, because of this, right? Okay. Wait. Oh yeah, it's 2. I don't know why in my imagination this was 3. Okay. Oh yeah, real throwing. Okay. So my paper 1 is in my commander bulk, in my commander pile. I think that Lessener Thrasios, I haven't ran him as a partner for such a while. Last time I guess it was in a Kinnan deck. Yeah, paper Kinnan. Oh, no, I'm not in an artifact strategy. Okay. Wrapping things up. Yeah, the important hate bears are 3 CMC. So oh yeah, these are all pieces. I wanted to build a rogues tribal deck with maybe Sig at the helm. Sig as commander. Sig, can you go in this deck and give me value? We'll put it here for now. So even this far in the deck building process, I still don't know what strategy I want to go with. I think I'm gonna go with an animate dead strategy. I had a blood artist somewhere. I think I put in my for sale pile. Do I need blood artist in this deck? Let's pause. Let's find out. Okay, so I brought back the blood artist. If it doesn't work in this deck, then it simply goes back in the for sale pile. Next, we'll look at our instants and sorceries, and at that point, we'll have a much better idea of what strategy we want to go with in this build. Because if you're going with this creature strategy, then your instants and sorceries are not going to be as thick of a pile as it would be if you're going with like some weird storm strategy, obviously. Hold on one second. Okay, so for shits and giggles, I did decide that I'm going to go with a animate dead relic water as an alternate win con, alternate to a Thorkel. Thorkel's your primary win con, but if you lose your Thorkel, you need something else to do, and I'm in teeny tiny CMC. I can't run dual caster mage as a secondary win con, so we're gonna make some simple cuts to our artifact pile. I won't need to like do a weird mill loop with a grinding station and Grim Monolith. Especially since I'm in blue, I could just use my Brain Freeze to feed my yard for Underworld Breach. Now let's quickly set aside the first 50 cards of the deck, just so we could focus on the other half of the deck without thinking too hard about what needs to go in and what doesn't. So we have 28 lands, and the two partners, that's 30. I decided to not put Dressed Out in the deck. We're going to have fun with Waste Not, because I don't get to play with this card enough. And then what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that is the one half of the deck. We're going to be in a creature-based strategy, so that's probably an additional 16 to 20 cards. And then this gives me an idea of what my instant and sorcery lineup is going to look like. Normally I like to have 8 to 12 counters, soft counters, in my spells package. We'll see how that works out in just a minute. Alright, so the creatures that remain. Let's go quickly through the first 10. All right. So just looking through this quickly. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, without a doubt. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you have clearly over 10 that will not make the cut. I mean, not everything's going to make the cut. I wonder if this counts. I'm pretty sure this counts, right? Because it's not a 3 CMC. This is a disturbed cost. I'll look this up after the video. Okay, so we're in Turbo Naws, so we want to pay life and do stuff. I don't think you make the cut today, Sig. Clearly we need a Blood Artist as just some redundancy with our combo. I like Stitcher Supplier to feed our yard. Same thing with Dragon's Rage. Dragon's Rage, maybe not so much, right? Non-creature spells. My instant sorcery package is going to be pretty tiny. Another way to go uncontested when we do our turn combo No, no, it's not another way because that loop is just the animated or dances that just continuously ETBing. Maybe we cut this, believe it or not. I could do some vicious dockside loops with the prospector. And Saracen is a nice way to get value. I copy someone else's shit. I don't need a sack outlet. I don't need a sack outlet, but I like the Goblin Bombardment because it's a way to ping people. It turns into kind of like a third Blood Artist in this deck. So we have 8. We're going to go with the Cathar Commando to get rid of some sax pieces. Just because I'm running Lurrus as partner doesn't mean that my opponents are too. And something juicy. Maybe the hope to shut somebody off. This is tech. I am going to do a wheel strategy for this particular build. Let's try it out. Let's have some fun. So we have 6, 10, so that's 20. So now my instant sorceries lineup. As you can tell, I really like instants. So this is going to be really interesting. Making these next couple of cuts. Now, before I do any of this, I separate my counters and soft counters that I'm going to place in the deck. Take half. I'll just take this aside because it's clearly going to be in the deck. Well, I'll do all this in a second. So we're just looking at counters and soft counters in my colors. A lot of cards to choose from. Now you can have thick instant sorceries. Lurrus just says the permanents can't be 2 or higher, higher than 2. Good card, just not in a deck with Ad Nauseam. I already know I'm going to exceed my counters, soft counters, so I don't need to look at the. I really don't need to look at these particular ones, actually. This is not a soft counter. This is not a counter. It's a tutor. I don't need to even eyeball the mana drain, because I know it's just not going to make the cut. Probably missing something, since I am looking through the lens, not as focused. I'm kind of doing this as quickly as I can. So if I do miss like an important counter, forgive me. But of course, as I play this deck, its current iterations you could find in the link below at the Moxfield link. So the free one's always first. It's 4. Looking at the next 6. I don't really think I care about shit that goes on other people's turns. So we have our soft counters. Right, so that's 8, 9, 10, and then I'm not really storming off, right? The ETB, L2B, ETB, LTB of the aura does not add to the storm count. So I'll probably put these as my 12th. What doesn't make the cut And on the sorceries, I put to the side, and I keep going. So that is 30 cards so far. The next step would be to remove, in both my sorcery and instant pile, tutors and combo pieces, and then spot removal. And then once you have all that, tutors, counter pieces, spot removal, and rituals, and once you have all of that, and draw. So see what I mean? You start running out of space. I only have 20 card slots for tutors, win conditions, spot removal, draw, and rituals. So it gets really, really tight. And so once I have all that, and I'll pause here and showcase what I pull out. Oh no, you guys want to see the collection. Okay. Let's quickly go through the sorceries then. So you have, things you see in a lot of my videos. This is a really good tech card. I just never get the chance to use it. This will go in the deck because I'm doing a wheel strategy. So all the wheels are going in this deck. And that is Life and Death. That is the collection. I'll pause here. And Chatterfang, really important combo in your Razacat combo with Life and Death and stuff. I'll pause here, and then I'll just go over the remaining 30 cards that I decide to, the remainder 20 cards that I decide to put in, and maybe what was cut from this final version. Okay, with the last 20 slots, this is just the instance, so there's a lot to cut. I went with things like Dockside Doublers, Entomb to dump the Relic Water quickly, some spot removal, some stronger than others, since I'm in 4 colors. And it's just generic spot removal that hinders, to get rid of the stacks pieces that hinder my combo. Corpse Dances is really nice to do dockside loops if you have a sack outlet, like a Skirk Prospector or something like that. So I can, so with the addition of a Corpse Dance and a Skirk under a I could with either the Blood Artist type effect on board, it could result in infinite pings, just infinitely recurring in the dockside. And then your combo pieces. Intuition, since I'm in these colors, I have the Unbeatable Intuition line with the Sabine's Reclamation, LED, and Underworld Breach. And then tutors, the 1 draw spell, and rituals, and then the 11th and 12th counter package. We're going to go through the sorceries, and then we'll go through that in a second. This is more of the same with the sorcery speed. We are going to try to include a wheels package in here, and if I decide not to do a wheels package, then the Waste Knot comes out, and maybe even the Goblin Bombardment comes out, just to start cutting slots. And then, I think some spot tutors and draw spells. So I'm gonna have to take both these piles now and show you the final 20 cards of this list. Okay, I made my final cuts. An important sorcery I forgot about was a Diabolic Intent, which I have to put in. And let's continue. I've decided to not include the Corpse Dance combo, a Mnemonic Betrayal, and also a Time Twister, With all those wheels gone, I cut the containment construct, a phantasmal image, waste knot, and a goblin bombardment. For now, in this current iteration, wear and tear, fire covenant, brainstorm, and storage will be cut. Gamble and inline tutor will be omitted. The waste knot and whatnot that was cut will be replaced by some rituals. A notable exclusion also includes a Praetor's Grasp. And then the final 20 is Diabolic Intent, Mystical Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Imperial Seal, Demonic Tutor, Red Flame, Jester's Will, Windfall, Wheel of Misfortune, Wheel of Fortune, Reclamation, Peer into the Abyss, Winds of Rebuke, Cyclonic Rift, Chain of Vapor, Intuition, Ad Nauseam, Tainted Pact, Demonic Consult, and a Brain Freeze. And there you have it. Thank you for sticking around this weird video of me going through my deck building process for the weird Will Wise Lucas Sharpshooter Lurrus Companion deck. I hope you're able to learn something from that. Again, as I goldfish this and play it in real life, any updates will be in the link, Maxfield link below. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.